Valcourt,
Here.
Alden Anderson. Here. Sean Mayfield.
Here.
Max Boyd.
Here.
Colton Martin.
Here.
All right. You guys have had a chance to look at the agenda.
Yes.
All right. Anybody want to approve the agenda?
I'll approve the agenda here. Sorry.
All right. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? So the city business at hand is the Mill Ranch Park North Access Driveway safety concern. This got brought to my attention by one of our rock haulers that hauls for APAC. I was out blowing leaves in my driveway and he stopped by and said, "What's going on with that driveway down there? It's really narrow coming off Highway 45. And I said, "Well, I'll take a look at it." So I went to City Hall next time I was down there the next day and pulled the design drawings and reviewed it with Lacey and said, "Is there anything, that it doesn't meet as far as expectations or standards for the city?" So we pulled the code and looked at it, and sure enough, it's not in compliance with our own code. So our own code is 26 feet. It was 20 feet at the mouth, and then it's, right after the turnoff, and then down to 18 feet at the parking lot. So then I called Brian, our attorney, and said, "I'm not exactly sure what we need to do, but I think we probably need to have a special session and discuss whether or not this needs to be a change order." And then I called Tomlinson Asphalt and let them know that we were likely going to have to do a change order because the difference in size, and had them put together the difference in cost. So that's where you see the difference in cost from the original bid with the 20 down to 18 feet, and then the 26 feet. And that difference is $29,976.50. And Tomlinson did give us a huge discount, only charged us cost on the red dirt. So
I'm not following there. I thought you said it was not wide enough.
correct. So on the drawings that were done by Crafton and Toll, it was coming off Highway 45 and it goes to 20 feet, which is 20 feet wide, but it comes in kind of straight off the highway and then makes a 90-degree turn. And so that 20 feet, and I agree, I didn't realize it until I got down there and actually looked at it. If I were in my pickup truck and I turned off the highway and tried to make that turn, I'm gonna have to swing out into that other lane, and I'll have to swing around in that other lane, making that corner, to be able to keep your vehicle from swinging out into the other lane. So, but what it is our ordinance says that it's supposed to be 26 feet, because this is a driveway and it's 13 feet per lane of our ordinance. Per lane. So we have 13 feet per lane of driveway.
So we're 6 feet short.
We're 6 feet short. And so that's the difference, is the 39 or the 29,976.50 is the difference.
We're 8 feet short, closest to the parking lot.
That is true, because we were 18 feet. It went to 18 feet, so we're 8 feet short on that side where the parking lot is.
And so they were doing their work per what we asked them to do.
They were.
And so we just do this on our,
It is. Yep.
the work started yet?
Yep. Work is underway. So
Additional width is underway.
So the driveway is underway. I have not authorized any additional work for the additional width. Now, John was down there today and said that they've already hauled some red dirt in. And
They all the red dirt. They said the red dirt work is all done.
I don't know who you spoke with. I know that I spoke with Nathan. Okay.
Red dirt work was completed. There were dump trucks backing in, dumping the gravel,
And who did you speak with?
the stone.
Who did you speak with there?
Somebody that was there at the site.
Okay. So we don't really know. I mean, I don't want to discount what you're saying.
No,
I just,
finish what I'm saying, please. Backing in, dumping the stone. Okay? At the width, the new width. And they were spreading it. They had the markers in, etc., all the way down to the park. Okay? I'm just telling you what I was told and what I saw. So I just saw the truck that was down there when I was coming. Okay, that the work is at. Oh, I know. So they must have worked till 5:30 or whatever. But they probably got all that stone in there already spread.
It's covered with SP2 or something like that.
Yeah, I just don't know. I haven't been, no one from Tomlinson has said that they've completed the red dirt or the SB2 yet. So as far as I know, they haven't done the entire width widening of the road yet, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
What they have.
John, I'm not gonna, I'd love to take you at face value. Okay.
SB2
They
and
had,
it's all over.
they had.
So no, with concrete.
I mean,
And that is a big part, the concrete is a big part of the 30,000 additional dollars. Okay, I mean, concrete's not cheap.
So was it designed to be 18 feet of parking lot and?
It was, yeah, it was designed 18 and 20.
In June, on June 5th of this year,
I have a similar explanation, that I would recommend that these kinds of projects, especially when they tie into like highways and coming into driveways, it goes before the planning commission. This did not go before planning commission at all. I'm not saying that planning commission is gonna, dot all i's and cross all t's, but when it comes from a planning perspective, we're looking for those things. When I was looking at all of these plans, I was not looking at it from a planning perspective. I was looking at it, we hired an engineer. The engineer should have asked, is the lanes wide enough? Does it meet the city code? Does it meet RDOT code? What is the code? I feel that those questions should have been asked. They were never asked. I didn't think to look at those questions either. Obviously, I'm not the only one. We just kind of, like I said, we assumed that the engineer would have had a grasp on it, and it didn't.
Ask why this was never. They were. This is the second project with Craft and Toll where you have, you're not incorrect. So I do think it's worth at least, talking to Craft and Toll and saying, hey, what happened here? So, but I agree with Lacey as well, that I think these projects like this, as they tie into especially major highways or they have to do anything with zoning, planning, I think they need to go before the planning commission as well, so there's another set of eyes gets laid on it before, we go ahead and do the approvals.
I was more worried about getting the plans turned in to get the grant funding. I thought that the plans would have been taken.
Also, I just don't understand why would we.
Well, I agree. That's what engineers are supposed to do.
that's right.
We shouldn't have to run everything through our planning commission. We hired an engineer to design the project.
And he should be looking at the ordinance as well.
Yeah.
At 18 feet wide, it doesn't even meet fire code.
I understand that, okay? And they should know that. They should know.
I guess that my question would be, I agree. The culpability, period. I don't know if they necessarily have to read our ordinances, but they should at least know what the code is. That's all I know.
Yeah, where do they come up with those?
Yeah.
I have a question, Russell. I looked at the diagrams. It showed 30 feet as you come off the highway 45 onto design. Now that right there meets code, right? That width coming off the highway of 30 feet.
It's actually, I think it's 40 feet is
I
the,
think it's more than 30.
yeah.
It's more than 30?
40 to 30 and then down to 20. Yeah. Is I think the way that I can pull it.
It was with the
I don't think
radius.
30 would.
With the-
do we
Yeah.
even-
Okay, but I looked at it wrong. So it's more than 30?
Correct, so the mouth of the drive was actually 24 feet with a 30-foot radius on either
Okay.
side.
Needs
Which
to be
equals
wider.
roughly 40 feet.
Okay. Thank you.
Can I just go up there and just show you some, as a suggestion? This is the eastbound lane closest to the park entrance. The other side is the westbound lane. Okay. And so if you're coming down this way, headed west, okay, you have no problem getting in here, coming across the eastbound lane. Could incur a situation if you're going east. Okay, so if you were to take from this point and draw a straight line to this point, right there, that gives them a much easier entrance in, and their hind wheels on a bike won't be, they'll have all this much more.
That's the only way that they can expand, John, is because they have their power pole on the other side of the drive, so they can't go any further westbound.
But we need 24, that's 23.
We need 26.
26.
20,
Okay,
and all the way
But
to the.
and
to the-
then from here out is 20 feet. Can you slide that over, Russell? And what, keep going. There you go. It narrows down right here to 18 feet. Okay? I would say that if you cut across here a little bit, that would make this turn easier. This turn isn't a problem. Okay, and you have 20 feet. And you make this 20 feet. So from wherever 20 feet ends here, and then it's 18 feet. Okay, 20 feet for 2 cars or a bus is plenty of room. Now, I know what you're saying about the ordinance, but the ordinance is specific, this ordinance is first, okay, is a residential driveway ordinance. It's not for,
It's our driveway ordinance for the city. So this is the current driveway ordinance. We're in the midst of doing that ordinance, but it has not been approved and it has not been to the council for approval. The new driveway ordinance. This is what we have. What we have is going to be 13 feet per lane. It's not been brought to the council yet. It's still at planning commission. So there's a whole new driveway ordinance that will potentially replace all of this and separate it out from subdivision altogether. It becomes its own ordinance all alone.
We're working on separating the driveway regulations from standard like residential, commercial, all of that. So we'll have like our own driveway regulations instead of it being tied up in subdivision regulations and tied up in zoning. We're hoping to have it to council in February. Like, we're still like, so we've got our zoning ordinances pretty much completed. Next, we're working on commercial design standards, and then we'll be working on subdivision regulations, and then all those driveway regulations that are inside the subdivision regulations Those all have to come out. The subdivision regulations have to be gone through, and we hope, like I said, to have it to council, crossing fingers by February, but it's still a lot of work.
You have fun?
It actually has increased the single lane to 15 feet from 13 feet, so it would actually make this even wider. So at this point, we are at 13 feet for single lane for driveway ordinance that the city had for some time. Since 2020, I think, was when this was revised, and we are not in compliance. So we can talk about all different ways, and I'm gonna respectfully disagree that 10 feet is not wide enough, because I cannot get my bucket truck nor the city bucket truck in that driveway without going into other lanes. Not as it's currently designed.
Well, so the issue tonight is we're not in compliance with our existing orders.
Correct,
We pay a firm to engineer this for us before it was constructed, they failed to do so.
correct.
My opinion is there needs to be a conversation with Craft and Toll why they missed that, and they should be responsible for some of the costs, if not all the costs.
So I have a question for council, moving forward, because it's gonna cost the city money if we put the job, like if we just stop the project, it's gonna cost the city money. If Tomlinson is gonna charge us for the time that we're not working on the project. From an attorney's standpoint, where would the city have to go ahead and approve the costs of the project and then go after Craft and Toll for a portion of it, or for a breach of contract or not upholding their end of it?
I'd say two different conversations. One is authorizing the work order to complete the project. If you think your engineer is in violation of contract, pursue that. I haven't seen it, I can't speak to it, but I certainly agree with you, it's worth taking a look at. I don't know what we contracted them to actually do. You know, engineer a driveway that doesn't wash out, it's different than engineering to the standards of the city. I'd have to look at the contract before I could say, but I think for tonight's purposes, city needs to determine what's in the city's best interest, and it sounds like a change order is what's on the table.
Right.
Well, if they had designed it to 26 feet or whatever, however many feet, it would still have cost us that much more.
It would actually cost us more than that much more, because Tomlinson's actually giving us a discount because of this change order. They're not charging us, they're only charging us cost on the regular.
Well,
What
it
I'm
would have
saying
been,
is it's not costing us additional money
it would have
to change it.
Well, no, we're already paying more than what we have as far as what's available from the grant, but yes, it would have factored into the cost.
It'd have been a higher cost, man, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
If they've done it right.
Yeah,
Uh,
right, right.
Yeah.
We would have been on the hook for heck more money anyway.
That is correct.
Would the grant have offered more funds based on a larger scale of a project? No, it was a.
No. This was essentially, we had $880,000. We had to purchase property with a portion of it, and we decided that this was the other portion we were going to use for this project.
And that maxed out.
But we may not scale as much. Larger, $15,000.
Yeah.
So, sorry.
I was just saying it would change the scope of it a little bit.
So where do we have $30,000?
We have it, we have it in the general fund. We'll have to take it out of our capital expenditures, so. We could try to fit it into the street fund. I don't know that that's the best use of the street fund, because we really need that for other street things. I think we're gonna end up at some point using capital expenditure money for, streets on top of what's in the street fund
Say
regularly.
move from capital?
Yeah.
It's almost true capital.
It's an improvement, so it's a capital expenditure. So
Property improvement.
property improvement to the park.
And the other point to Lacey's point is, I don't think y'all have to dot the i's and cross the t's, but I do think these need to go planning, just to have another set of eyes.
Yeah, we've already had that conversation, and we feel like that's the only appropriate next step, is that we bring all of these to planning.
So what all of these mean?
So any project like the Goshen Tuttle Highway 45 project, we will take anything like that is gonna go to planning from now on. at least they can put their eyes on it and make sure that they, agree that that looks adequate by all of the ordinances and regulations that the city has, and that, that the engineer hasn't missed anything that is, something that may not be standard for an engineering firm, but it's something standard for our city code. So,
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
so we have a motion and a second
Yes,
that all things go before the planning commission before it comes to council on these kinds of projects,
Do we need
engineering
anything in writing?
projects.
Do it.
Do we need anything in
All right,
writing? Okay.
any public comment before we vote? All right, all those in favor?
aye.
All right, motion carries.
What was it, all planning?
Anything that
Say that
happens.
again.
Any engineered planning designs for the city go before the city planning. Engineered designs. I think that's a good move.
Cross our fingers, we always have an engineer on the planning commission.
And then the second, I think, order of business is, do we want to approve the change order as we have received?
Well,
So,
I think we need a little,
all right, does anybody want to make a motion? We have a motion
Second.
and a second.
Well, I think a little discussion. I mean, I think we gotta do it. I think it's gonna cost us more if we don't do it, but I think there needs to be something in there that, so this culpability's gotta go back for a conversation with Brad.
we need to go back.
Yeah. But David, am I correct? That's a separate conversation that we can have with Crafton and Toll. We can put that on the agenda for November's meeting and have someone from Crafton and Toll come to the meeting. I think that'd be a good-
Any harm in paying for it now, saying everything.
We have a motion and a second. Any public comment before we vote? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, all those opposed? All right, so one opposed, motion carries. All right, any other discussion before we adjourn?
I have a question.
You bet.
What is this gonna do as far as affecting our entrance and exit from our house? For you all that don't know, we live in a house just straight back from the parking lot.
And I'm correct, the concern is because they cross the creek and oftentimes use the exit that's gonna be closed. So the current drive will be closed and the only entrance and exit will be into the parking lot.
Doesn't that entrance, okay, when it floods, it washes out that road that goes along that bank a lot of times, where it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Can I say that?
It is.
Okay, so do you use that road to get,
I never use it. My wife has to because of her car. But in case of emergencies or anything, that bottom road, everything GPS goes to that bottom road to our house.
UPS.
okay, so
UPS, I mean,
So
there's
it's-
about
Trash service.
is the house that's right where that road starts to go out? Is
Across the
that
creek.
your house right there?
It's the little blue house that's at the end of the chicken pad.
Right,
Yes.
okay.
The Washington County Emergency Services is who basically dictates where your driveway number is, where it falls in on the maps. So you may put in a phone call with them and see if they can do anything to kind of re-indicate how to get to your house. Cause I know the creek down there floods. Yeah, that's not the, that's not the.
We have on Memo Lane, we had, gone to the Washington County to get ours corrected because we have the same problem.
Yeah.
With GPS.
Yeah.
That it does not take people to our house. And, Washington County told us that they submit their plans and their new maps, and that's as far as they go. Apple and Google are the ones that are responsible for getting those up to date so that trash services and people looking up your address can find you.
But if they,
Washington County 911 does not do that.
but if they pull in. And that road is in a washed out condition. they're Probably,
Fire trucks can make it, without much problem.
yeah, but I'm talking an ambulance.
Yeah, that's probably not.
I know they get clear, so, but they might be hesitant.
It's better, I've already had emergencies
Okay,
here, but other places, my legs. And I don't need an ambulance or a fire truck coming down the wrong road or stopping at the park looking to see how do I get over here 100 yards to this house.
I got a couple of
now
One,
I hear you.
why do we feel like we need to close that entrance, and not just lock the gate?
I don't have a reason for closing that entrance.
So we said it was gonna be.
That's part of what was in the Crafton like plan was that there's actually, and if you look just right here, it talks about removing existing gravel drive. Now, I don't care if that gravel drive, I mean, this gravel drive, it kind of skirts off over in this direction.
Yeah.
the creek. I would be fine with leaving that gravel drive there and just removing this portion of it here between basically where the parking lot and where you guys would drive out. I don't have an issue with that if the city doesn't.
No.
I mean, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't leave it. It's an existing road that's there. Why tear it out? Especially if you use it. Yeah. Is everybody comfortable with that? We probably need to make sure that there's signs that, identify it as a private drive. And we could do that. We could put up a private drive sign, and then we've got a new sign ordered for the new park entrance. So that'll be going up as soon as the entrance is finished. So,
If that stayed open, would you be?
with this truck, yeah.
Yeah, because that gate, when you start in there, that gate is far in that we had put gravel to go to.
Yeah, we'll just leave the gravel and we'll just let it skirt over to where your drive is. They can take the other part out, but I'll make sure they know not to take out the rest of that, so.
Emergency vehicles can get down there. I can get up to the mailbox.
Yeah.
And plus, one other thing, the top road for us leaving, the same way with my neighbors up above me.
It's hard to see getting out.
You cannot see.
I know.
So somebody's who,
Yeah, it's really challenging.
So when they take the.
It's out of our line.
Put that gravel on the existing road, all
I don't know. We can scrape it and try to put it over there, but I don't know, because there's gonna be some of it that's like red dirt underneath there that they're gonna have to remove. So,
better than that. That road has been some time really washed out.
Yeah.
So.
So I guess
anything else?
we've dealt with your concern.
We'll keep your road,
I think a sign is important.
yeah,
It's better.
private drive sign on theirs and then a sign for the park.
two or three people that's actually walked over in front of the house, which is no big deal. I mean, nobody is driving over there.
Except for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the people that drive by to go and pick up the hay, they go by there whenever they're hauling hay. And other than that, nobody goes down there.
All right, motion to adjourn? All right,
Second.
all those in favor?
Uh,
All right, thank you. Appreciate you guys.